Hi, Scott Stork with Polaris Law Group, estate planning and elder law attorney here in St. Charles, Missouri. One of the things that we get asked a lot is, do I need to do an estate plan after I'm divorced? So before I get to that, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the instructional videos that we put out. Also, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to call our office, 636-757-3850. Visit us on the web at polarisplans.com. So I had a client come in yesterday. She was sent by her financial advisor, and she was recently divorced, and her question was, does she need to do anything? Are there things in the estate planning world that she needs to be concerned about? The answer to that is absolutely. There are things that we need to be aware of after a divorce. Many things change in someone's life after they are no longer married. And some of the things that they need to be concerned about directly deal with estate planning. So we have a number of divorce attorneys who send their clients over also, and it's for that exact same reason. So what are some of the things that recently divorced individuals need to be aware of? There are a number of things depending on their situation. So if they have young kids, there are different considerations than if their children are adults and they are just getting divorced after a long marriage or something like that. So let's start with if they have minor children. So what are some of the things that they need to worry about? Well, one of the things they need to worry about for their kids' sake is who's going to be the guardian if they and their ex-spouse happen to not be living at the time. So it's something that no one with young kids likes to think about, but it's something that we have to plan for. And so naming guardians is a huge deal when it comes to planning. You do not want to leave that up to the court to have to figure out. You do not want to leave it up to family to potentially fight over. So need to be very, very clear on who those guardians will be. In the same way, we need to plan now for not leaving things necessarily to our spouse that we were married to. Now we're probably leaving things, if we pass away, directly in some way to our children, and usually that's leaving things in a trust for them because they are not old enough to manage their own assets or own their own assets. So the consideration then is, how do we leave things to our kids? Who do we put in charge to manage that money? At what age might they be responsible enough to start making decisions? What do we want to use that money for? Is it education? Is it their day-to-day living? Are we leaving our kids with a guardian who might need financial support to raise them? So there's a whole host of things that we need to be concerned about and that we really need to plan in advance for our young kids. And that's something that, working with a good estate planning attorney, they can advise a client what the best route to go is and how to structure that. Because there is no one right answer. It's really talking to a client and finding out how they feel about things, what their needs are, in order to really craft that plan. And that plan may change over time. So if you've got very young kids and you're getting divorced, your considerations are going to be different than if you've got kids that are high school age or heading to college potentially. Now beyond that, anybody who gets divorced needs to be aware of other things. So many times, if we've done an estate plan while we're married, we have probably named our spouse at the time as a power of attorney, maybe as a trustee of a trust. We may have named directly them as the beneficiary of our life insurance or retirement accounts or other things. So we have to unwind a lot of those things once we get divorced. So taking them off of the beneficiary ledger, so to speak, on certain accounts, maybe we need to redo a trust, then takes the spouse as a inheritor away. Maybe we need to redo powers of attorney and wills and trusts to take them off of being our decision maker as that power of attorney, as a successor trustee, as the personal representative on our will, all sorts of things like that. And then we have to figure out who is it that is in a person's life that can take those jobs on. So Do we have siblings? Do we have parents who we want to do that? Do we have friends? If we have older children, do we want our kids now to be some of those decision makers? Are we back in a relationship where now we maybe want a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, etc. to start making those decisions? And so there are a whole host of things that we really need to be aware of. It's not any one thing after a divorce. It's really unwinding all sorts of things. And then really, now that there's a new life that has started or is starting, really crafting that plan to fit that, and then making sure that as life changes after the trauma of divorce, that we are changing the plan with it to meet the needs as we go forward. So there are a lot of considerations to make. One of the big things that someone can do is work with an attorney that they like and trust to help guide them through that. And so hopefully this was helpful. Again, please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe so that you can get our videos. Again, if you have questions, concerns, if you have recently been divorced and you want to talk to somebody about that, feel free to give our office a call. Again, our phone number is 636-757-3850. Our website is polarisplans.com. And again, I'm Scott Stork. I hope this was helpful, and we look forward to talking to you. Thank you.